Hi everybody, I'm Bree the Plant Lady, and today I'm doing an early garden tour because I am heading to the beach for the weekend. We have just finished filming our first portion of the Making More Plants online course that I'm doing alongside Joe Lample. We've been filming intensely for the last 3 days. I have a whole new appreciation for making cell phone videos for YouTube and not worrying about every time an aircraft goes over or a loud car is in the background. Thanks for tolerating my lowbrow video making skills. But it's such a lovely time, and I wanted to make sure that I got to reach out to everybody and show you some of the updates. So let's go on a tour. So in this border right next to my back patio, it's finally happening. Although I think the cilantro here should be back there, which is completely filled with sedum. So, these are the notes that you need to take. I can't believe there are still garlic scapes that are growing. I swear every day I think I've gotten them all. And yet, here I am, plucking more. But overall, it's really colorful, quite brilliant. That Carolina blue sky can't be beat. And the larkspur has really finally come into its own, and it just looks spectacular, scattered around with all of the different colored poppies. This is definitely cottage, and I like it. So one of the biggest challenges of filming is that I don't get to water. And I was kind of freaking out, but I did get everything watered in preparation for going away for the weekend. And just wanted to show you the sweet peas that I planted more in the midwinter, like in December. Those are finally starting to bloom. So, the sweet peas that I usually sow in October, they're already finished. They've gone to seed, and I'll be collecting that seed soon. But here are some that are later. Glad to see they're flowering. They're certainly not doing as well as I had hoped, but they're doing well enough. And really exciting to show you all of the cauliflower is really coming along. So, cauliflower it does this on purpose. It keeps its leaves tight, so that's what keeps the head white instead of turning green. But you see there's really good heads on all of these that I planted back in March. So I'm thrilled about that. But what's really exciting is to give you an update on the propagation house. So you see I've got everything plasticized, and all the cuttings that I took from the arboretum are in here. These are all some of my seed crops that will be going into the garden soon. So let me give you a little sneak peek into the mist chamber. We got everything stuck. So we did herbaceous annuals and a whole bunch of really interesting softwood cuttings of trees and shrubs. So I'm really thrilled that we'll hopefully have a successful propagation stock, and I'll get some cool new plants for the garden. Poppy Haven over here, and then all along this side. Really great colorful backdrops. Hopefully the videos that we made will be really pretty. This won't be available until 2022. Sorry, I thought it was gonna come out earlier, so I don't mean to tease you with it, but it's a pretty involved project. This still is my favorite section of the garden, with the Eschscholtzia and the Nigella together. I have to replicate this next year. Of course, the carrot border, it really is growing on me. I'm not gonna lie. I think these are the most beautiful flowers. I still would have preferred to see a little more mixing instead of it just being dominant carrots, but that's a pretty beautiful scene. Here, I like it a lot more with the Nigella have scattered through the middle. So, again, these are just notes for myself so that in November, when I'm sowing this again, I'm, conscientious of what I think will look best for the display. but overall, I can't complain. The main point here is there's no ground plane open. There's no weeds in here. So there's no opportunity for weeds because I planted this so densely. And that is the goal. I do like that little pop of yellow. That's from the mustard. Actually, let's walk over here and see, because this border that I planted week before last is growing really well. So first of all, you can see the onion edge on the outside of the cattle fence is doing great. You see the gladiolas are starting to grow. They have the blades coming up. And then there's a whole bunch of seeds germinating and peanuts coming up. So this is what the peanuts look like when they germinate. And back there, that's a sunflower. And I see some zinnias. So this is great. I'm really pleased. It's very hot and it's very dry. And I have my neighbor kids planning to water this border for me. And these grafted tomatoes are also doing really well. I mean, look at those big fruit. And I haven't done any supplemental watering on these. So make sure I leave them a note and encourage them to give the tomatoes some extra water, as there is no rain in our forecast and we are into the 90s. So reality. So I'm a little area of sweet potatoes. I've just gone and treated these again for the rabbits. And my potato bags, which I'll totally deal with next week. I don't have as busy a schedule next week. This week has really kind of kicked my butt. Exciting, but exhausting. And I haven't slept well. I've been overstimulated. But I wanted to show you this little area. This has been self-sowing with larkspur for about 8 years. And it's just so beautiful. It's so, so beautiful. I love how it blows in the wind. Well, the barley is getting ready to be harvested. I mean, that's honestly something I'll probably do next weekend over Memorial Day. Harvest the barley. I have to wait for a lot of these other things to ripen, but you can see the bachelor buttons have a lot of ripe seed. See, that's, sorry, it's not focusing very well because it's so incredibly sunny, but the seed is right in here. In fact, the crew that was here would be like, cut, redo it. There we go. That's what the seed actually looks like. If I can get the shadow out of the way. Oh my God. I'm so tired. There's the seed. So honestly, I might actually clear this bed by next weekend and get it replanted for the summer. So I'm gonna have to think about exactly what kind of design I want for out here for the summer. I was thinking super tropical. I have some bananas and Thailand giant colocasias. This little area that I've, renovated starting last year and kind of finished this spring is filling in really nicely. I'm just waiting for this Swiss chard seed to ripen. Then I'm gonna redo these containers. They're looking a little beat down. The barley border out here is also starting to turn amber and dry out. It's because it's so dry. Really can't believe how wet we were and how totally not wet we are now. Everything is really kind of suffering to a degree. I haven't been keeping up with watering. Like I said, I've been so occupied this whole week. But it's messier than I was hoping. I think I have some renovation to do out here, and I am sticking with my plan. You see, we stuck the cuttings of that Prunus mume, and I am planning to have that cut down next weekend. And look, y'all, the poppies that I just tossed into this border, they're really small, but they are flowering. Not too impressively, but it's partly because it's so much shade under this live oak. Overall, it's amazing how the self-sown flowers, the poppies, larkspur, nigella, how drought tolerant they all are, and how the trees and shrubs and perennials are the first things to wilt. So there's something to be said about this, you know, the vigor of annuals. Because I have not watered this bed in like 3 weeks. And nigella hasn't skipped a beat, but everything else is looking droopy. Cue the sprinklers. They're out. My neighbors, I'm so fortunate, are willing to come and turn them on and move them around. Help preserve the garden at this stage. Oh, I missed a broccoli. Look at that, you guys. That was a nice one. Damn. Well, such is life. Coming around here to the north side. Not as much going on over here right now. Just dry. Middle of May and it's dry. I hope we get a different weather pattern for the summer. It'll be a long summer if this is going to be how it is. When I get back, I'm going to stick cuttings from these lilacs, particularly this kind of new growth. We did not have time for me to gather anything from the garden. It was all we could do to get what I had gotten from the arboretum gathered and stuck. But here we are again in the backyard. I hope you've enjoyed this tour. I am excited to have a more normal week next week, and I don't feel like I'm quite ready to go back to the pre-pandemic pace. And I'm wishing you guys all the best. Thanks so much for watching.